this, you'll hear a little bit more about the difference between being compliant and being responsive. We can go to the next slide. I'm moving through this quick because I want to leave some time at the end for you guys to be able to ask whatever questions that you have, and I think we'll get much more rich dialogue out of that. So
we appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. So compliance is literally the bare minimum, guys. That's just literally going through the RFP, checking the boxes. If they ask you for your name is on the application. If they ask you for an address, it's on the application. That is essentially the bare minimum that you must do in order to be able to submit your RFP bid. And it's important that you do that. It's important at the very least, anytime you're submitting, that you're checking all of the boxes. If they ask for something, that you're making sure that it is a part of your package. Okay. But here are a couple things that I want you to do to get yourself prepared to be not just compliant, but to also be responsive. Okay. Your initial review. When you go in and you see an RFP is out there, this is the time for you to start to do a little bit of research on who it is that you're submitting to, the agency, whether it be the city government, like the city of Riviera Beach, or whether it be the state government or the federal government. Do a little bit of digging and research and really understand whether or not if this is a good opportunity for your business, whether or not you are ready to take on this. So doing that initial work, learning about the areas that you may be, sometimes the RFPs will identify, say for instance, you have a janitorial business. It will identify the actual structures that you may need to clean. One of my clients, we bid on a janitorial contract to do pressure washing of parking garages. Well, the RFP showed us every single parking garage we would have to clean. So rather than guesstimate, rather than just guess for our bid, we actually took a drive out to each one of those sites so that we could put our eyes on it, so that when we're developing our bid, we can go, we can make sure that we add all the bells and whistles. Okay, so another key thing in particular, I'll tell you in Riviera Beach. I know you guys may already cover BidNet, but make sure you understand the actual platform that you're going to submit on. Make sure you even do a test run to run through to make sure you understand how the system is going to feed information to you, because I can guarantee you every single platform is different for every municipality, unless they're using the same platforms. And then every level is going to be different, whether you're working with the local entity or, say, federal entity. When you're submitting your actual bids, it's going to be different. Some people want you to just email your bid as a PDF copy to them through email. Others want you to break your or have an entire RFP or PDF that you submit via their platform, like a BidNet. Others are going to ask you to break it down section by section and respond to each individual question that they're looking for. So make sure you spend some time in this initial review understanding and getting acquainted with the platform that is there, okay? And then it's on to your due diligence. That's when you get into actually reading the RFP, going through it with a fine-tooth comb, making sure you understand the words that are there. And I'll tell you guys, for the folks who are just getting started, you're gonna have to have a dictionary next to you, or at least have Google next to you. You may need to look up some words to understand what it is. And I promise you, you want to go ahead and do that, because anytime you're dealing with government money, you don't want to get yourself in any trouble. I, for one, have managed to stay out of handcuffs all of my life. And so I'm not going to allow me submitting a bid or getting a contract to be the thing that takes me to jail. So I like to dot all of my I's, cross all my T's during this due diligence phase. This is where you're going to pay attention to your insurance requirements. Do you meet the insurance requirements? You're going to pay attention to whether or not you have to pay your employees what they call the Davis-Bacon Act, where you have to pay prevailing wages and whatnot. They may impact your margins on your bid. So you have to understand everything that is being required from the RFP. One thing that I'll tell you, a little cheat code for any of you guys, this is something that I do with my clients. I build a compliance matrix. So looking at the RFP, And again, I'll give you all a real simple hint of how to do that. You take the entire RFP documents, copy and paste it, or whatever the case may be, go to ChatGPT, drop it in ChatGPT and ask it to create a compliance matrix for all of the different requirements in that RFP. Now you'll create a list for yourself of everything that you need to do to check the boxes. Okay, so make sure during this due diligence phase that you spend considerable time understanding all of the documents that are part of the RFP package, not just the RFP itself. Sometimes the scope of work may be separate. Sometimes other components may be separate. Sometimes people have already submitted information like questions that they wanted clarity on. During this due diligence part is where you want to spend all of your time just understanding every aspect of it. So read through all of the documents as clearly as possible. And then during this compliance phase as well, seek clarification. I'm big on every RFP that I send to, if the questions timeline has not passed, I will submit a question just for the sake of submitting a question. I do that for two reasons. One, I don't want the first time that a compliance officer, a contracts officer see my name or my company's name. I don't want the first time to be when they get my bid. So I want them to know that, hey, I'm kind of signaling to them, hey, I'm interested in this. My company is thinking about applying. Look out for us. It's kind of how I would, what in my mind I think is happening. So I encourage you during that part, this period, ask questions. If you're not sure of something, or if you can interpret something in the RFP differently than what you think it may mean, or you think it can mean multiple meanings, this is a time where you submit that in a question so that you can get that cleared up before you even submit. Okay, so that's the compliance part. We can go to the next slide. Now, being responsive. This is how you separate yourself. Okay, being responsive. I'll give you a quick story. Just recently, I had a meeting with a company, and what is it they do? They do some type of security platform. Okay, and one of the things that they said in this meeting was that one of the things that makes them different is they hired someone who used to be a political lobbyist who understands all of the different statutes that are pertaining to their particular industry. So they're able to inform their clients how their clients can remain compliant from a statutory standpoint. If you're a city like the city of Riviera Beach, that's something that is important to us. And we may not have even known that we needed that, okay? And so being responsive really and truly